Hello everybody, today I am going to show you how I am going to make myself a pair of glittery Christmas boots. I haven't had enough time to adequately market or promote my glittery shoes and boots that I do. There is a bit on Instagram and TikTok, although not since the summer because things have just got really busy, but I do decorate these and I am going to do if you know me, I like Winter Wonderland, I like pinks and Candylands. At Christmas, I don't particularly like the green and red. So for me, pink is my favourite colour. I am doing my boots pink, and I'm going to then add on some Candyland gingerbread style inspired embellishments, I think, at this stage anyway, probably with some cream glue. But first of all, we have to cover these very boring boots in glitter. And I've ummed and ahed about how I'm going to do this in terms of colours of glitter. I thought about ombreing. I originally thought just plain pink, and now I think I'm going to mix my white and my pink, partly because this is my favourite pink, and it means I will use less of the pink, but it will also give it sort of a snowy effect if I blend the two together. So in a minute, because I haven't got it out, I'm going to go and get a cup and blend some of my glitters together. I'm going to be using good old Mod Podge to apply the glitter to my shoes. I have a nice wide Mod Podge brush because I think it helps to do large areas, and a smaller brush for finer detail. These boots are pre-loved. I buy a lot of my boots when I'm working on things for myself or practicing techniques from secondhand selling sites, because they're still in very good condition and I can buy the size that I want. And if I really don't like what I finish up with, it doesn't matter if I spent £5 on them. Whereas if I had bought a brand new pair at £30 or more, I would be very sad. So yes, these are pre-loved, but in excellent condition and perfect. Suede is one of the best materials because it's sort of textured and grabs the glitter quite well. So I'll be back in a minute with some glitter in a cup that I have mixed. So here I've just mixed the pink and the white glitter using the end of my brush. I'm really bad at estimating glitter. I usually go vastly over or vastly under. This does look like a lot, and it probably is more than I need. However, I do need to do at least 2 coats on both boots. And although they're not huge boots, they're not tiny either. Let me just get something to wipe my brush with. Otherwise, I will have glitter everywhere before I've even started. So, obviously, I will do one shoe at a time, so I'll probably only show you one shoe. I have stuffed newspaper inside to give this a bit more stability, and obviously I'm using some newspaper to catch my glitter so I can reuse it. Luckily I have an elderly relative who still gets newspapers, because I cannot tell you the last time I bought a newspaper, and gives them to me. Otherwise I would struggle, because lots of these kind of crafts, newspaper's just invaluable. My next problem will be, as I always forget, that you can't actually get the brush into the Mod Podge. So if I can just grab one of my palettes, yes. I always have a palette kicking around somewhere, but it's wet. See, this is exciting, isn't it? You never know what's going to happen. And I am dreadful at editing videos, so all I do is stick all the sections together and go with it. So I'm afraid you get like warts and all of me doing this. But there we are, you get to see exactly what it's like. So I'm just going to try and get the shoe covered. I'm not going to panic, but I want to be as quick as I can, because obviously you don't want the Mod Podge to start to dry on one section before you've finished the rest of the shoe. Obviously you could tape this area. I'm not going to be glittering that. I'm making a real mess. I'm going to come back and do the edges with my smaller brush. I'm just trying to get it on the shoe as much as possible. And I'll have to come back and wipe off glue around the edges because we don't want glitter on the soles. I have no idea if I'm in camera. Apologies if I keep losing it. I put my camera to the side this time because sometimes I need to have it directly in front of me, but then I'm trying to look through the camera to see what I'm doing, and that's quite difficult. So I'm going to go in camera with my smaller brush. I'm going to try and avoid that tab, although I have got a bit of glue on it, just because that's the bit you want to hold to pull your shoe on and off, and you don't really want to be grabbing kind of the glitter, which can be a bit scratchy even when it's well sealed, which obviously is why it's on the outside of the shoes where you're not going to feel it. I just need to make sure I'm going into all the crevices here. That's the only downside with pre-worn shoes. If you can see here, look, it's very easy to have, you know, where the creases are, for it to miss a little bit when you're gluing it. And just going all around here. Obviously, like I said, it will need at least 2 coats, but the better you can do the coats, you know, then hopefully you won't need a third. Because while it's not the most difficult thing in the world, it is a bit fiddly, and obviously you've got to wait for each layer of the glue and glitter to dry before you can go back to the next one. Go back to the next one, go on to the next one. You can see I'm concentrating because I'm not thinking about what I'm saying. Right, and there's no sort of special technique here other than sprinkle the glitter and try and make sure you get as much coverage as possible. I usually go from the top down because then the glitter falls down and will stick onto the rest of the boot, if that makes sense. Don't expect for it all to cover. Just try and get it on all over as best you can, especially a first coat. There are going to be gaps. And actually I think I may need more glitter by the end of a second coat. We'll see. Interesting. I haven't actually done boots before. I've done shoes of different shapes and sizes, but not boots. So that's an interesting one to try and work out the quantities there. If it's on this bottom sole, don't worry, it will wipe off. You know, these are the soles, it's easy to wipe off. Or you can just wait till the glitter is dry. Oh, I've seen a gap already, and it should fall off or brush off quite easily. Just try and make sure you've got the edges there. Give it a good tap to get rid of any obvious excess. And then we're going to leave that for at least an hour, I think, to dry before I attempt a second coat. And I will go on and do the other shoe and be back when we're ready for the second coat on this one. Right, so it's the next morning. These boots have actually had 2 coats of the glitter already, because when I had done the first coat, I realised because these were quite a dark grey and I was adding a very light glitter on top, it was going to need 3 coats of glitter. So I thought, you don't want to watch me do all 3 coats, but I am going to do another coat, because when I looked at my video from yesterday, I realised that having moved the camera to the side, I'd moved it to the left, and I'm left-handed, so a lot of my glitter shaking, all you see is my hand, rather than what I'm doing, because I was doing it with my left hand and the camera was from the left. So my camera is now from the right, so I'm hoping that that will mean you can see what I'm doing a bit better. A note that I forgot to say yesterday was best practice, and if I wasn't doing these for me, I would have taped my soles. But this is really faffy to tape, and actually what I'm going to do is take a craft knife or similar and scrape all this off before I varnish these. But I don't mind if they're not perfect, because I don't think anyone will notice, and like I said, they are just for me, so I wasn't too bothered. It was I'm more concerned about getting them actually finished. I'm just now looking for my my palette that I appear to have misplaced, so I'm going to grab a paper plate, which is a good substitute if, like me, you know you've got more than one palette but you can't find them. And I'm on a time crunch today. I have something else going on in about 25 minutes. So this is me going, I just need to get another coat of glitter on these shoes because of drying time. So just get my Mod Podge out there. Also, once you've done a first coat of the glitter, it is much, much easier to add second coats, because the shoe fabric doesn't suck up the glue like it does the first time round. So it's easier to spread. You can spread it more thinly. The process just gets easier the more coats you do. And it's exactly the same process for gluing as before. Just spreading it all round. And then coming back with my smaller brush to do the edges. So I'm going to finish off the glue and I'll be back to pour the glitter. Alright, so that shoe is all glued, and just as before, I'm taking my cup, trying to angle it downwards so as much glitter as possible is caught on the bottom of the shoe as it falls. Otherwise I'll have to pick this all up and put it back in the cup and do it again. It'd be good not to have to bother doing that. Just trying to make sure I'm covering all the gaps and edges. And then around the back. Like that, and then I go back round. I'll give it a little check over, particularly any of the edges that may have got missed or not be as well covered as at the bits further down. And hopefully the shoe is now done. And that will be left to dry. Boots have now had the 3 coats and they are dry, and I think that's really good. It's got a really good coverage. I am going to do a little bit of touch-ups around the edge here, and as you can see I need to do I'm holding my camera, so I've only got one hand, but I need to scrape off a bit around these, around here where the sole meets, which I probably wouldn't have had to do very much of had I bothered to tape them. But as I said before, I didn't bother to do that the better way around. But I actually think it's not too obvious, especially when you're wearing them, because obviously everyone will see your feet from a distance. But once I've tidied them up, finished them off a little bit, I will give them at least 2 coats of this sealer, which will stop any of the glitter that is currently still shedding, and make them nice and waterproof to use outside. And then I will come back and decide if I'm going to add any embellishments on top. I don't know why I want to keep pulling them that way. So I'm looking at them through the camera, they look weird. I did think at the beginning I would add some little resin charms on them. Now I'm not sure if I want to keep them less specifically Christmas and a bit more just fun, sparkly occasion wear boots. They might be more versatile. I might wear them a bit more. I'm considering some lace maybe, but because these are stretchy around here, I'll only be able to put a bit around the front. But that's a possibility. I'll have a think and I'll be back to show you what I do, if I do anything, and yes, maybe have a little walk if I can manage that with my camera. The shoes have now been varnished and that's all dry, and after much deliberation I really did feel like they needed something else, and I didn't really think I needed to put something up here because if I wear trousers it'll cover most of the boot section, and if I put something on the toe it's probably going to get knocked, and it just felt a bit strange unless I was doing something like, you know, a big statement piece. I didn't quite know what to do on there. So what I've done is I've bought this plastic pearl bead string. They are 3mm beads, and I'm going to glue them around the edge like that because I think it's really pretty, and it also covers all my mess. It means I haven't got to spend a long time cleaning it all up. So 2 for 1. So I'm going to start, I'm trying to do this close up so you can see, but I'm going to start with my all-purpose glue from the back, centre back of the boot. You know, kind of just stick a line of glue part the way around, because this is not heavy beading, it's very light. So it should stick well enough with this. If it doesn't, or if I think it needs anything extra, I may consider doing a coat of UV resin or something to give it extra security, but I don't think it will. I think the fact that I've only done part of this is making it not want to stick quite as well. So I'm just going to carry on going around to the front of the toe. And then I can just add it around there. It's a little bit messy, but I really like how that looks. I will just wipe off my excess glue in a minute, probably with a baby wipe because I use those for everything. And I will just carry on around the boot like that. I haven't actually ordered enough for both my boots yet. I ordered a metre. A metre is not quite enough for 2 boots in a size 6. So if you're doing a similar size or bigger, you'll need to order a 2 metre string. But I'll be back to show you what they're like when they're all done. These have now dried. I feel like they're really strong and sturdy, and I couldn't, you know, peel them off, pick them off. So I'm really hoping I won't need to put anything extra on top of those string of beads. I have also put them around the elasticated area on these boots. I actually wouldn't recommend using elasticated boots because it's been a real pain doing these edges, and this is sort of on to distract from the fact the edges are not the neatest or cleanest. I've put them on both sides. Again, really well stuck. I am going to have to just wear them, I think, and see. The bits that might move are these bits near the elastic. This stuff's not going anywhere down here, but yeah, they're just to kind of add a little something and to try and distract from that. My preference would be probably boots that lace up, simply because you're not dealing with having to accommodate the elastic. I did think about painting this elastic pink so it was less obvious, but I decided the amount of paint that would be needed to cover the dark colour would be crazy and would probably cause problems with the elastic, that when it stretched there'd be so much paint on there it would crack and look a mess. So I have just left it dark, and hopefully these will see me through the festive period and beyond, and might give you some ideas that you want to try. So hopefully that was an interesting video, and I will see you all again soon. Bye.